The most important AI story this week is a model that nobody built. At its developer conference, Apple, the most valuable company on Earth, confirmed that its rebuilt Siri runs on a custom Google Gemini model that it licenses for about $1 billion a year. Apple looked at the frontier model race and chose to rent rather than build. That single decision tells you where we really are. The model is becoming a commodity, and the contest has moved to three scarce things: distribution, compute, and control. Start with capability. The striking thing about the June model landscape is how little separates the leaders. On the common intelligence indices that analysts now publish, Google's Gemini 3.5 Flash scores around 55, Grok 4.3 around 53, and Claude Sonnet 4.6 around 52. 3 points cover the top three names, with several more credible models just behind. When the gap between first and third place is a rounding error, the model has stopped being a differentiator and started being a component. If models are interchangeable, then whoever owns the surface where they are summoned owns the economics. Apple has roughly 2.2 billion active devices. By making Claude and ChatGPT selectable inside Apple Intelligence, alongside Gemini as the default, Apple just handed those companies a distribution channel that no advertising budget could buy. In a commoditized model world, the channel is the crown. The consumer numbers show how fast the channel is shifting. According to Momentic's June report, drawn from similar data, ChatGPT still leads at about 55% of web visits, but that is down from roughly 77% in early 2025. Gemini has climbed to about 27%, and Claude, while smaller, reportedly grew its web visits more than 300% in a single quarter. A market that was nearly a monopoly 2 years ago is now genuinely contested. Watch where the orchestration is going. Apple's model picker is, in effect, agent routing baked into the operating system. Microsoft is making the enterprise version of the same bet, expanding its Foundry catalog past 11,000 models and, the detail I keep returning to, putting Claude inside Excel's agent mode. But the can door is healthy. Databricks chose, quote, build apps and agents that work, as its summit theme, which is also an admission that most agents today do not reliably work in production. An agent is only as good as the table underneath it. This week, the Open Lakehouse community spent its energy exactly there. The conversation has moved past whether Apache Iceberg won. It did, to how its metadata layer evolves for streaming and AI. The emerging version 4 direction targets adaptive metadata and one-file commits, so tables can absorb low latency streaming rights. Real-time has become the baseline, not the premium tier, and that is the precondition for agents that act on the world as it is, not as it was at 2 in the morning. Here is the week's most revealing deal. Google, a company that has built its own chips for a decade and committed more than $180 billion to capital spending this year, agreed to pay SpaceX about $920 million a month for access to roughly 110,000 NVIDIA GPUs at XAI's data centers. The contract is worth around $30 billion, and Google called it bridge capacity for Gemini demand it could not meet on its own. A hyperscaler is renting GPUs from a rival because it cannot build fast enough. While the industry scrambles over compute, the regulators set hard dates. On June 30th, 22 days out, Colorado's Artificial Intelligence Act takes effect, the first real law to bite on U.S. soil. Then on August 2nd, 55 days out, the bulk of the EUI Act's high-risk rules apply, with penalties reaching €35 million or 7% of global turnover. The proposed federal preemption has not passed, so companies that delayed compliance are now exposed. Governance is no longer a PDF nobody reads. It is a dated, enforceable obligation. If governance is about proving what your systems did, security is about whether attackers got there first, and this week the defenders were losing the race against the clock. Cisco is now dealing with its 7th SD wide area network 0 day of the year, with the latest actively exploited and no patch available. In parallel, the U.S. Cyber Agency added a SolarWinds Servview flaw to its exploited vulnerabilities catalog, with more than 12,000 servers still exposed online. The attack surface is expanding and the patch window is shrinking at the same time. Step back, and the 6 stories collapse into one. The model, the thing we spent 3 years and hundreds of billions of dollars chasing, is commoditizing in real time, and as it does, value and risk migrate outward to the layers that are still genuinely scarce. The distribution channels that decide who summons the model, the compute and power that run it, and the controls, governance and security that keep it accountable. Apple refusing to build a model, Google renting a rival's chips, and two regulators starting their clocks are the same event seen from three angles. So what would I do Monday morning? 5 things. First, stop optimizing for the model and optimize for the wrapper around it. Assume your model is replaceable and route each task to the cheapest capable one. Second, treat data freshness as an AI feature and move towards streaming. Govern tables. Third, design for compute you do not control. When even Google leases chips from a competitor, single substrate dependency is a strategic risk. Fourth, put the Colorado and EU dates on the executive calendar now. And fifth, ship autonomy with a kill switch, an identity, and an off switch before you scale it. The model was never the moat. Distribution, compute, and control are, and right now, invention is outrunning all three. I am Matt Suhil Mattis. Thanks for watching, and I would love to hear how you see it.